Players here for our second semifinal. Let's find out who is headed to the finals right now with Alien Corey.
Thank you so much, Maria. Welcome to the feature match area. It is going to be Cain Rianhard up against Burchett. I'm Ailey Loney alongside Corey Baumeister. And we are in for a slugfest. Orzhov Midrange versus Rakdos Reanimator.
Yep.
Which one do you like in this matchup here, Corey?
You know, I think it is pretty close. Normally, I like the Reanimator strategies that are able to go way over the top, but Autumn's specific version of the deck also goes over the top with Breach the Multiverse. So normally I would say Reanimator, but Autumn's really teched out list, I think, really evens this out, maybe even puts her ahead.
Alrighty, well, let's jump in here. Join the action of our two players. One of them will advance to the top 4 of this tournament, and I bet they cannot wait to get into those finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Play against the young GOAT, Nathan Stoyer, here in the finals. Impressive work to see him there once again.
Burchett, Cain Rianhard, ready to rock and roll. So let's boogie.
I'm excited.
Me too. Kicking things off here with Rafine's Tower. Just to prepare everybody for what could potentially be a very, very long game. Orzhov Midrange has been known to go long. So if you've ever done any sort of running, that's the thing where you know, advance your legs very, very quickly.
Like walking though, right?
Yeah,
Not
just
faster,
a little quicker.
Right?
But yeah, it's a marathon. It is. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So
yeah,
get settled in. Get settled in, Spirits of Companion, kicking things off here, drawing a card, and getting in for 1 point of damage. We have a leader.
Yep, absolutely. And then, yeah, it really is. Autumn is able to, in some games, in some situations, run Cain completely out of threats. Yeah. You know, that can absolutely happen. Or, you know, one of the gigantic spells from either side can take over and kind of win a game quickly, really from either side. So there's so many different outcomes we could see from this match here. And especially with 5 games, reminder to everyone here at home, it'll be 2 pre-boarded, and then that third game will be heading to the sideboards here to get out some cards that the players do not like.
Well, you'd hope that the players playing the cards like them, but their opponents certainly may not. As we're going to see, Phyrexian Fleshgorger played for its prototype cost, just a 3/3 with Menace and Lifelink. Has that helpful ward too, that if life totals do get a little lower, you don't love to pay it, but in this instance, Burchett paying the 3 and targeting it with Lorena the third path, keeping the battlefield clear. Yep,
happy to do it. And Phyrexian Fleshgorger, really interesting card because the prototype makes it a 3/3. Uncut downable, and it's an artifact. So it cannot be go for the throated. So it is a really nice spot in the metagame where it kind of, like Steel Seraph, makes this certain position where most decks can't kill it.
Yeah.
Lauren, on the other hand, though, Loran, excuse me, deals with it cleanly here.
Sure does. Oh, Elder Dragon War. Ooh, nice. Little baby board wipe. 2 damage to each creature and each opponent. So a little extra splash damage there on Burchett, down to 15.
That was the best possible card there for Cain, and Cain does only play 1. We did see this card at the U.S. Regional Championship being played as a 4-of from Andrew Beckstrom and Matt Nass with their creation. Cain deciding to only play 1 of them, but, I mean, why do you need more when you just draw the 1-of? It's perfect.
Man, sagas are such cool permanents. I absolutely love this card type.
Me too. Kind of feels like a planeswalker, but not as, you know, powerful.
Yeah.
And, you know, doesn't take over metagames as much. Yeah. Yeah, sagas are my favorite as well.
And a lot of the field this weekend, too, as we saw Fable the Mirror Breaker in almost every single deck that played red.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, just getting a land here and having that wedding announcement about to transform. I believe I saw a Wandering Emperor as well from Autumn, so at least has that as an option. And if she passes the turn, almost assuredly what we're going to see.
Yeah, pretty much telegraphs that there is the powerful Planeswalker in hand, as we do see the flipped wedding announcement.
It's the classic pass with 4 land when you're playing green and collect a company. Be like, ah, I just got unlucky. I don't have anything here. Dang it.
Ah, shucks. You know, around Ixalan everyone would fear double mana, double white left open, 4 mana for Settled Wreckage. But this time around, Wandering Emperor.
That was a fun card too. Absolutely.
Yes, let's say fun. Fun when you're casting it.
Yeah, sure.
Oh boy, Fable the Mirror Breaker now.
And it looks like Cain only discarded 1 card there, so has to be pretty happy with their hand.
Oh, nice little 1-2 punch. Fable into Blood Tithe Harvester.
Yeah, great draw for Cain so far.
And flashes in the Wandering Emperor from Autumn's side of things. So likely seeing our Samurai buddy joining the fray. So this wedding festivities, well, the flip wedding announcement, you know, providing this buff does keep Autumn ahead a little bit now, even though the board looks pretty evens.
Yep, absolutely. That really helps out a lot. This Wandering Emperor able to create multiple 3/3s here, which just completely negate exactly what Cain just did as far as creatures goes. So, yeah, Wandering Emperor, excellent on this battlefield.
Yeah. Just being able to continually grow your threats, like we saw with the other white deck in the top 8 and Yuan Chen's hands, Azorius Soldiers, just being able to get that buff from the flipped Invasion of Gobekhan.
Yeah.
That sort of thing, you know, just keeping up is the name of the game here in these mid-range matches.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to not see that deck fire on all cylinders, kind of like we saw earlier. Really didn't do exactly, have the best kind of draws in the early top 8.
Sarah Paragon.
Do you have a counter I can put on this to show it's a Paragon thing?
Yep, because when it dies, it does get exiled. Not the easiest thing to represent.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you kind of pull it onto the sleeve as a way to represent it.
There we go. Hey, look at you, Corey.
Oh, I'm doing it.
So if the good girl dies, then we will get some extra life and it will be exiled. And they're like giving all your creatures just like, I don't know, 2 lifelink, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, impressive. All right. There is Chapter 3 of the Elder Dragon War, bringing out a dragon. Not always the most powerful thing, as it does die to a lot of the popular removal, but, you know, reflection of Kiki Jiki flipping and copying the dragon, stuff like that, that can come up, as well as just being a nice blocker here with the Elder Dragon War. One of my favorite cards as well. Big fan of that one.
Yeah, it's nice to have it see play here in the hands of Cain Rianhard.
Yep, definitely something that lost popularity with March of the Machine as a Tali, another thing that goes over the top. Just didn't really line up as well to the metagame as it did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. It's quite flexible, though, you know, just being able to keep control of smaller battlefields.
Yep.
And likely going to be swinging at 1 Wandering Emperor soon. But there is the big ol' angel in the way being buffed by the wedding festivities, so won't be able to get through at the moment.
Yeah, and just a ton of ground creatures. There we see a Tali, I believe, Invoke Despair, that alternate art one, Takanuma, and Cut Down in Cain's hand to get a little idea of what's going on. And this looks like a shaman attacking that has no hopes of living through combat, that's for sure.
It has served its purpose, Corey.
Yeah.
Goodbye, little friend.
Blocking.
Bye-bye.
And now let's see what the follow-up is. I think it's Dino time.
Dynamite. Dynamite. It's Holly. Primal Conqueror hits the board. Let's start flipping. Land.
Would you like to cast a Sunfall? Maybe, actually. I mean, right now, Autumn's board is better than Cain's. Yeah. It's kind of awkward that you just cast your most powerful card.
You do get a creature off of it, though. You know, it's not like casting a dam or anything like that. So,
the really one unfortunate thing is there's no way to get the Wandering Emperor off the battlefield. You can get all 5 of Autumn's creatures off the battlefield and incubate 8 here. Then the Go for the Throat was also a blank. So relatively kind of a brick here, because you can only cast one of these cards if you're Cain. No matter what.
We're Sunfall?
Let the sun fall.
So it's nighttime? Oh.
Yes, exactly. one of the best cards, if not the best card, probably competing with Atali as the most influential cards, both in limited, as the impact in both limited and standard for this weekend from Mom, March of Machine.
The set sounds a lot less fearsome when it's just called Mom, huh?
Yes. Still a fun abbreviation,
oh,
that's for sure.
Is, yeah. I wonder when we'll get Dad.
Yeah.
Aunt and Uncle. One can hope.
Yep, exactly. Even it out.
Alrighty. Speaking of evening it out, Planeswalker on one side and a potential 8/8 on the other side there for Cain.
Yeah, and we'll see if there is like a Loran or something from Autumn to deal with this gigantic Incubate token. Because as it stands, you can't really lay down arms it now. And ossification doesn't hit an artifact either. So right now, as long as that stays a counter, Cain will at least be able to animate it on their turn and then get an attack without sorcery speed removal spell interacting with it.
That's helpful indeed, just keeping it in the holster there as we see Reckoner Bankbuster hit the board here for Autumn Burchett. So a good way to dig through. Roadside Reliquary would get 2 cards for Autumn Burchett if that's the route that she decides to take.
Yeah, and it's just a question at this stage of the game, do you want to be giving away a land, even if it is in exchange for a couple of extra cards? That would probably be the sign that Autumn's hand is not that great so far.
So just the 2 mana paid for Reckoner Bankbuster's ability. Draw a card. Let's see what we got there.
All right, I think I saw 2 Wandering Emperors and an Ossification at least in Autumn's hand. So, yeah, makes a lot of sense to cash one in when you get a lot more of them.
Yeah, just get another creature down here in case of a giant flying 8/8. Well, not flying, but a giant 8/8.
Yeah, really large creature here. And that Sunfall was pretty decent timing here before you get this Fable flipped.
Yeah. We've seen the reflection of Kiki-Jiki die several times to everyone else's removal, but if Cain can prevent it dying from their own spell being cast, then, you know, they're going to be happy about that.
Exactly. I like that Cain has all these sweet alternate art cards as well. Like, no, I don't want to go for just the normal versions.
Keeping us on our toes, that's for sure.
Exactly. Really cool art there.
Yeah, that Takanuma Bannermeyer was real sweet. The alternate art.
So Autumn did have a decision here. She could have crewed up Bankbuster and sacrificed that instead of the token. Values the Bankbuster higher here.
Yeah, just being able to get some extra cards.
Yep. And that is an 8/8. So the reflection, I believe, can copy that, you know, if it doesn't die. More than likely, Autumn is going to be dealing with it. But I surprisingly haven't seen that come up yet.
Does it get its counters?
Reflectioning an Incubate counter. Yeah, I
don't know if it gets a token. Oh, sorry, I don't know if the token gets the counters as well.
It might just be a copy of a 0/0 and then die immediately.
Yeah. I'm sure chat will
yeah, we'll have chat
answer our judge call for us.
More than likely, it's not going to come up anyways because I saw a decent amount of removal spells in Autumn's hand, especially the #1 thing here, just being able to cast the Wandering Emperor and eat up this 8/8 would be really impressive as well.
Certainly a juicy target for the Wandering Emperor. Oh, and would you look at that? It's already tapped. It's great sitting in the booth. We look up every now and then. We can just see some of the players hanging around. Raph Levy walking along there. Ili Cassis. See Marcio Carvalho.
Yep, we see the whole CFB team doing some drafting here.
Oh, Ossification. All right, so not even needing to use the Wandering Emperor. Ossification takes care of that token. And just a reminder as well to anyone who is at Magic Fest or at the MagicCon, come on by. Come check out the Pro Tour area. Come watch the players play for the championship.
Yep, absolutely. And chat, of course, letting us know that it would become a 0/0 and died. You're right, Ailey.
Poor little 0/0.
I know, I know.
And it is your turn.
Chat is oh so smart. We know that.
Level 5 judges.
Level 5. All right, so both
superior Googlers.
There you go. There you go. Nice double ossification there to deal with both threats.
Nice.
And now all of a sudden Cain does have to find something else here to progress the battlefield. And without any super powerful creatures in the graveyard, Cain is definitely going to be looking for that second Atali, maybe a Traxa. Traxa cannot be cast right now. And that is kind of the little unfortunate thing with the Rakdos Reanimator deck. It's Kane's just playing a mana base that just supports Rakdos. So you can't really cast that Atraxa, which is the reason why you only play one, because you can Cruelty a Gix to search for it, put it into your graveyard after you search for it with maybe a Blood or Chapter 2 of Fable, and then bring it back that way. Really near impossible to cast it, as there's a couple Proving Grounds, Xander's Lounge, and then just Treasures to be able to do it. So a tough one to cast, but not impossible.
If it gets to a point where you do cast an Atraxa as a Rakdos deck, then you know a game has gone long. If you have found, or you're just very, very lucky, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Why not both?
Why not both?
All right, I believe that is a Cruelty as well as a land and a Cut Down. Cut Down being one of the cards here that is almost assuredly going to be sided out for game number 3.
Oh, nice. Reading ahead straight to the Phyrexian Flesh Gorger that's been hanging out in Kane's graveyard. So now it's a 7/5. And an unpayable ward cost, I might note.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I mean, you can pay it, but...
But do you want to? Probably not.
That's the epitome of quit hitting yourself.
And that is really some of the, shining moments for both Autumn and David's deck, where Cut Down's just so bad against it. So against both of their decks with just going way over the top. So nice calls for the metagame from both of them. And it really shows off, mixed with their limited prowess, making it all the way to the top 8 and top 4. Or excuse me, both top 4s.
Paid off for them in a big way here this weekend.
Oh, for sure. Going to be seeing both of them a lot more here at the Pro Tours after the qualifications from making the top 8 and World Championship for the top 8 as well. So
that's so great. Like even if you don't crack it into the top 8, or if you don't win the event in total, you still get more shots at it.
Yes, absolutely. And getting to compete at the tournament that everyone wants to is the World Championship. Always a very special event. Going to be a little bit larger World Championship than we've seen in previous years. So it's going to be really special to see here at the end of the year in Vegas.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So look ahead to that after Barcelona. Rafine's Tower. Has the land for turn for Autumn Burchett.
Might be seeing another ossification. Probably not.
Bankbuster. Alrighty, so Autumn sitting at a precarious 7. Cain at 14.
And
not too stressed about the life total there for the moment, especially with this Flesh Gorger on the board.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, I don't see a reason why this Phyrexian Flesh Gorger isn't just attacking for lethal here. There's only one blocker available, either crewing up the pilot or blocking with the pilot.
Yeah.
I think this is Cain picking up game number 1.
Certainly feels like that.
Yep.
Because it can't be targeted, otherwise Autumn would just die, paying 7 for the ward cost.
Yeah, and no flash blockers of any kind.
But
there is Wandering Emperor. And I believe she still has one in hand. So, yeah, okay. With the treasure, you can play that, create another 2/2, and then either pair it up with the pilot and the 2/2 to chump block.
Yeah, that would have to be that's the only way to survive at this point.
Oh, and I guess with the Wandering Emperor, you can crew the pilot for the Bankbuster and block with the 2/2 to actually trade
Kill
here.
It, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm in.
All right, that's a good way to get rid of this pesky worm.
Let's see if Cain has any bit of removal, though, which I believe we saw Cut Down. And I think this Cut Down is going to do it unless that was discarded to the Blood earlier, which is what I see.
No.
So we'll see if there is another removal spell from Cain.
Oh, man.
So now there'll be a weird dance.
Yeah.
Autumn will kind of look like, I'll make this. Do you want to do anything?
Because then priority passes to Cain.
Exactly.
Before blockers.
So Cain says, yep, go ahead. I guess cut down on the 2-2 no matter what is game because the 2-2 can't crew Bankbuster.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Uh-oh, but that crews that.
Oh,
okay.
There we go. Double removal, just to make doubly sure.
There we go.
Alrighty, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed there for Cain, as that's going to be game 1 going to Cain Rianhard. So
my heart kind of dropped there.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no, that seems like not the play you would want to do, but then that made a lot of sense.
Awesome stuff there. Okay, so now we get to see the players' faces, we get to see their hands, and we are in game 2 here of our second semifinals. One of these players will go on to face reigning world champion and the guy that just cannot lose, Nathan Stoyer.
Can you believe it? 3 Premier top 8s in a row and poised to take his second Premier championship in 3 total events. We haven't seen anything like this since Luis Scott Vargas top 8 in 3 events in a row, but he didn't win any of those.
Nope.
You know, so wow, the young GOAT. And at 21
Nathan
years old,
just
really impressive.
Yeah, he's just like achievement unlocks, you know.
Yeah.
He's just got those popping off at the top of his
100%.
his HUD.
I got 21. I day 2'd my first pro tour, and I was ecstatic. You know, he's winning all these events. Really impressive stuff. All right.
But tough competitors here in either Cain Rianhard or Burchett await Nathan Stoyer.
So diving into these games, reminder everyone, this is still pre-boarded. So if you're thinking, why is that cut down not sideboarded out? Well, because you can't.
Yep.
So both players looking like very functional hands here. Restoration of a Ganjo picked up from Autumn, a card we haven't seen a ton of so far today.
There's so many ways for this, you know, basically mono-white deck to just go and fetch lands to recur things from the graveyard. You know, it doesn't play like the typical mono-white deck we've come to know over the years.
Yeah, no beatdown mono-white deck for sure. Although there can be some fast draws. I mean, if you go Ambitious Farmhand into Wedding Announcement, into Wandering Emperor, you know, things get pretty scary. And the flip side of Restoration of a Ganjo is pretty powerful as well here, being a 3/4 attacking and bringing a couple friends with it. Searching up my favorite planes out of all of them there. The John Avon planes.
Oh, yeah. I met him in the elevator this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I was like, hi, John. Big fan of your lands. He's like, yeah, I've heard that a lot this weekend.
I think I would have got really red in the face because I would have probably fanboyed him out a little bit too much. I am a huge fan.
Oh, it's
really
so
nice,
great to see the artists here this weekend. Oh, absolute gentleman.
Yeah. Yeah, a ton of artists here, too. I was walking over in the con area, and they have a plethora of
many
artists.
So, I will say this. If you are ever able to go to one of these Magic Cons, it is well worth the time.
Yeah.
The tracks are getting in the bin. That's bad news.
Yep, and in some matchups, like let's say a Reanimator Mirror, it's kind of risky to discard that right away, just in case your opponent would maybe cruelty your Atraxa. Here, there's really not any big fear of that, so can kind of get that out of the way, essentially, because, well, Atraxa's not going to be cast too easily.
Double blocking here on one of the Blood Tithe Harvesters, but we'll see a cut down in response to blockers, leaving the blocked copy alive. In for 3, down to 14 goes Autumn. What's the follow-up here for Cain? Another Blood Tithe Harvester in hand, and also has another go for the third and cut down.
Okay. That is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there...
That is a ton of pressure. Look at that. You don't often see 3 Blood Tithe Harvesters just hanging out.
Yep. And here we go, the nice little combination here. Discard a land, bring it back. Another really cool thing to do with that. It brings stuff into play tapped, so it's a land isn't ideal, but ossification going to the graveyard and then bringing that back.
That's so cool.
Feels like cheating, you know? It's so powerful to just get that removal spell for free in this deck.
Ramping you nicely, jumping you ahead over the curve, and we're gonna just go to end step here, I believe. Flipping to Wedding Festivity.
Wedding festivities here, making a 2-2. Now this 2-2 does block one of the harvesters, and then Wandering Emperor. If Autumn is feeling really scared, she can just negative on one of these harvesters, untap, negative to make a token, and then have the second Wandering Emperor to then start creating blockers. So, or just start making 2-2s off the first one right away. So either way, Autumn has these 3 harvesters under control.
Yeah.
Cain will need more than this to close out the game.
Nobody panic. That's Sushi the Blazing Sky.
I was panicking, thank you.
Oh, okay. Don't panic. Calm down. Relax. Chill. You're not up there. You got nothing to worry about. Record of Bankbuster. It's Sushi. And a couple extra goodies in hand here for Cain Rianhard. So certainly not out of gas yet.
Yep. At Sushi, another one of those cards that's phenomenal against removal spells like Go for the Throat, where you get that die trigger. But this matchup, Lay Down Arms, Ossification, almost assuredly going to see that one taken out as well.
Plenty of exile effects for Autumn Burchett to rely on to get rid of these creatures with their death triggers.
Yep. And looks like no land here for Cain, so no Despair to be invoked. But you do have either the Powerful Dragon or Bankbuster plus activate. So still some solid plays, but I think Cain would have really liked to get that enchantment off the battlefield.
Yeah, needed a swamp there, unfortunately, discarding that Sokenzen.
Yep.
Turns out paying 4 black is quite difficult.
It is a bit of a challenge, even in a base 2-color deck.
Yeah, and no Fable the Mirror Breaker to get the little goblin.
Sorry. No, I always forget that.
Always forget that you can do some stuff here. So Cain has a tough choice here whether to go for the Throat, the 2-2 here, or kind of save it for the Architect of Restoration on the other side. That is not an artifact, and it becomes a 3/4 Vigilance creature that when it attacks or blocks, it creates a token. So you, yeah, exactly. I think Cain has to let this go, even though it's kind of brutal, because you really need to kill the flip side of that restoration.
Yeah, that's certainly a much bigger threat the longer the game goes.
Yep. So, one thing we haven't really said too many words about so far is the breach of the multiverse from Autumn there.
We haven't seen it. Like, every single time we've seen her on camera, at least for our rounds, it's just been boarded out.
Exactly. So, I wonder if, I bet it's not boarded out here because she can, you know, hit Atraxa, can hit all these powerful things off Cain's deck, but in the last round, you know, Simon was sideboarding a lot of that stuff out, so it made sense that she took it out there. I'll be curious if she takes it out next game.
Well, time will tell as our players work their way into the mid-game, and we are going to see the Architect of Restoration on the flip side. It's a Fox.
Yep, absolutely. Fox Monk. Interesting card, that's for sure. No land, but it is kind of a delayed land.
Ambitious Farmhand, Wedding Announcement, Emperor, and the Breach that you mentioned. But first things first, Ambitious Farmhand hits the board, and I'm going to go get another Plains.
Yep, and Cain made a decision there for that last turn to draw off the Bankbuster to try to hit land 5 that turn to be a little bit more mana efficient. Had the other option of just saying go, leaving up Bankbuster, and having Go for the Throat for the Architect, and then if Cain were to top deck, a land would have the Invoke to deal with the other enchantment, the flipped Wedding Announcement, but missing the land drop there, pretty brutal. And now Autumn's enchantment flooded.
Oh, jeez. You're not wrong. Another copy of Wedding Announcement hits the board, so we're going to see a couple extra creatures here for Autumn Burchett. And on Cain's side, they don't have to worry too much about the Architect of Restoration for now. As it needs to either attack or block to create that 1/1.
Yep. Yeah, but all of a sudden, Autumn is just going really wide here.
Yeah.
And now these tokens, you know, after a couple of turns where second Wedding Announcement flips into the festivities, all of a sudden it's cranking out 3 3s. And that is a lot of pressure for Cain.
Talia is not what you want to be seeing off the top of the library, sitting at 4 lands. Land drop missed last turn.
Yeah.
Trying to get that 4th swamp.
And a little smirk there from Cain, probably indicating a brick as well. And yeah, another bad draw. A decent card. Decent card. We saw it do some good work last game. And that can do some nice stuff to just, you know, you can fast forward it to Chapter 2 just discard, you know, your whole hand maybe. Probably not exactly what we would see, but in these Reanimator strategies, if you're really trying to find land 5 and Cruelty and you have a powerful card like Atraxa in the yard, like it's not that crazy to just be like, all right, I'm getting rid of all of these. I want to just make sure I hit the thing.
Yeah. And with the Anthem effects on Autumn's side of the battlefield, you know, we're more likely to see the skip ahead, or the read ahead, excuse me, to Chapter 2 because, you know, sure, we'll kill, what, 1, 2 things maybe at the moment?
Yeah, looks like 2 things and technically 3 things, but one of them is Cain's thing, so. Not
that's
ideal.
No good.
Not ideal. And another brick on the land drop there for Cain. Really, really unlucky so far to have 5 non-lands.
I mean, the one cheeky thing we could see is the Blood Tithe Harvester minusing on the biggest creature and then the Dragon War.
Can't even kill the Architect, though, which is brutal.
No, to give it the -/-.
Yeah, but it's only 4 total damage with the Elder Dragon War and the Harvester, and it is a 5/4, or a 4/5 right now.
You are right. The math, unfortunately, wouldn't add up for that.
Here we go. It's breach time.
Let's breach mill 10. Let's take a look and see what we hit.
I wonder how many times she's milled people out thanks to her breach as well. Like, the games already go really long. And if you cast 2 breaches, if both players deck out at the same time, Autumn just gets to say go and then will win the game. So it always advantages the person who breaches first.
Does it that? Sarah Paragon is the pick here.
So Atraxa is a pretty solid one. This was discarded really early.
That was so early. And you were even talking about it like, oh, it's risky against, like, you know, the Reanimator mirror. This is kind of a Reanimator deck, too. It's taking the best of both worlds here, so. Yeah,
I was saying it wasn't too risky in this matchup, but of course there is the breach that does make it slightly risky. But Cain had a lot of chances to kind of fast forward and get that Cruelty before Autumn was able to get to 7 lands. Just pretty unlucky so far, and that looks like the Eternal Wanderer.
I wonder if the next evolution is going to be the Eternal Emperor or the Wandering Wanderer. What do you think, Corey?
Yeah, I think the Wandering Wanderer has to just be a home run. You know, yep, that makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. I'll take my check in the mail. Wizards of the Coast play design. Don't let me name things.
Yeah, I think you're on your way to the design team right there with that one.
Oh boy.
And of course it is creatures or planeswalkers from this, so we do see for sure Atraxa and Sarah Paragon looks like to be the other pick. Not bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Just refueling. Look at that grip. Ooh,
I love that the people keeping track of the cards in hand, Frank Karsten and Tan and Grace. Whenever you see Atraxa, that's the card. It's like, okay, you know, you're adding a card here and there. Be like, oh, wait, how many cards do you have now? You know?
It's just like panic, panic, panic.
Atraxa is definitely keeping them busy at work this weekend, that's for sure.
They sure are.
Atraxa still looked really, really good. Atali was the new hotness. Breach was the new hotness. But you just can't forget about how powerful Atraxa was. And David especially was making that card look really good against Javier. And then came up a little bit short against Nathan last round.
Man, things are looking extremely good here for Autumn Burchett. Just an embarrassment of riches on this battlefield. Enchantments aplenty, creatures every which way you look, planeswalkers. What doesn't she have?
So the one thing that Cain has going for them is they can go for the throat Atraxa and then, you know, hope to be able to string together a way to bring it back themselves. But that's still very, very much a ways away with Cain not having land 5 and Cruelty right now.
And then I discard.
Goodness me. Draw off of the wedding announcement and discard to hand size, I believe, and then Atraxa back in the bin.
Yeah, whenever your opponent says move to discard, most of the time it's like, all right, sweet, they didn't hit their land drop, but after Atraxa it's like, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah. Okay.
There is land 5 though, so we have some hope here.
Albeit fading. That's also a magic card.
There you go.
That's going to be it. Cain has seen enough, and that is looking like we are in for a marathon of a matchup here against Autumn Burchett, Cain Rianhard. Corey, what do you make of that one so far?
Yeah, so kind of splitting the difference there. It looked pretty close. Cain really stumbled there, which led to kind of a beating there from Autumn. But now things get to change a little bit more. There's going to be a lot more duresses. So the players are going to be able to find holes in each other's hands to be able to exploit a little bit more and should lead for a little bit, I would think, slightly quicker games, but who knows? This is a grindy matchup, and really anything can happen between these two all-stars.
Well, let's see which sideboard plan pays off after this break. We'll have game number 3, excuse me. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to coverage of Pro Tour March of the Machine. And there you can see all of our players enjoying the festivities here at MagicCon Minneapolis. And we are 3 people away from crowning a Pro Tour champion here this weekend. Ailey Loney alongside Corey Baumeister, and we are in the thick of it in the second semifinal with Cain Rianhard up against Autumn Burchett, Mythic Championship 1 winner, looking to add a second title to her resume. But we still have to get through this matchup, friends. It is best of 3 out of 5 games, and now our players are able to sideboard. So let's jump into game number 3 here and talk about some of the decisions that we would have made in sideboarding, Corey.
Yeah, I think the number one things both players are going to be trying to max out on duresses and bank busters. And for Cain, probably maxing out on some of the over-the-top powerful things like Chandra, Invoke Despair. And then from Autumn, the thing I'll be interested in to see is if she takes out the really powerful card of Breach the Multiverse. Like we saw in the last round, I think this match is quite different where Breach can hit these gigantic things like Atali and Atraxas, so I would assume we're leaving that one in. And then also Destroy Evils looks like they were kept alive, and that is a really nice one against Cruelty itself. Cruelty of Gix.
Also, I'm not running the full playset of the Breach the Multiverse, so just the 2 copies, you know, I don't see why not. I mean, Cain's got some good hits indeed, and also a really good curve to start things off right now, as we do see land number 3 and the Fable of the Mirror Breaker to follow up the Blood-Tithe Harvester.
That is the draw that you want here, but it did look like Autumn has Lauren to be able to deal with the Fable or just Destroy Evil it here. Now you can definitely cast that powerful 3-drop, take out the Blood as well. not the most powerful thing, but it does stop Harvester from killing the card.
Yeah.
You know, so that helps.
And also takes away the instant speed discard into the graveyard for any reanimation shenanigans there.
Yep, that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Then looking at Cain's hand, Cain still has a nice one here. Fable the Mirror Breaker, Reckoner, Bankbuster here, as well as a land and some Abrades. You can see there's a high equity put on being the one to have Bankbuster at the end of the day, being able to go all the way through all 3 counters and get the value here.
Yeah.
These games are not usually won by miles. They're definitely won by inches.
Yeah, they go toe-to-toe with each other very well indeed. As Xander's Lounge is the land for turn, and that'll be followed up with a Reckoner Bankbuster. So lots of damage being dealt so far. Autumn is down to 12. Cain's still at 20. Tapping out once again, though, for a second copy of Lorana the Third Path, so Bankbuster down. Yeah,
Loran, their second Loran was awesome, especially since Cain used a removal spell on the first one. So huge exchange for Autumn there, even though it doesn't look like the biggest thing when it comes to, you know, just turn 4 here, but it was really huge.
Yep. In hand for Autumn, we have an Ambitious Farmhand, Rafine's Tower, a Plains, and Destroy Evil. So a couple things still to do, but is really going to be looking for some of the bigger haymakers in the list.
Yeah, and maybe a look of sigh there, a look of maybe I made a mistake there from Autumn. Kind of wondering what she's thinking there, maybe playing Rafine's Tower instead of playing this land, but I like that.
I guess there was a Destroy Evil as the option here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gets the swamp.
Passes the turn back, so Loran up against the 3-2 and the 2-2. On Cain's side of things, Sulphur Springs is the draw. There's another Abrade, so we'll see if it's a deja vu all over again for Loran of the Third Path.
Yeah, I think this one probably not the immediate target. I think Cain was definitely more prioritizing abrading that first Loran because you had a second one.
Yeah.
Because they had a second one. And now you probably just want to attack in with these 2 creatures.
Yeah.
If Autumn wants to block with Loran, then Cain can just play another Fable and probably hold that Sulphur Springs in hand to discard it to Chapter 2. If one of these Fables ever hit Chapter 2, they keep getting destroyed here from Autumn.
Turns out White's pretty good at enchantment removal, so we will see a trade there. Treasure Goblin and Lorana the Third Path down, but we do get a treasure off of him on attack, and a second copy of Fable the Mirror Breaker now for Cain Rianhard.
Yeah, they have a nice draw here. You know, you're kind of missing the big, powerful cards like Cruelty of Gix, Atali, that kind of stuff. But this is exactly what Cain wants to be doing in the early turns. It's all about Bankbusters. It's all about Fables and Duress. Haven't seen the Duresses yet, but they wouldn't have been that good so far anyways.
Yeah.
Would have been great for Autumn, though.
Yeah, the hands have kind of been a little bit meh. You know, there's been like no, ooh, great, we're working towards that. It's just this little, you know, little bit of inches here and there, grinding out a little bit there. You know, kind of like a squirrel just storing some nuts for the winter. I don't know. There was an analogy somewhere in my brain, but it left me. As we're going to see Ambitious Farmhand hit the board now and go digging through the library for Autumn Burchett with just the Destroy Evil in hand.
All right, but building up to powerful cards, you know, like Breach, like the Eternal Wanderer. Autumn is playing 3 of the Eternal Wanderer in the main, really putting up powerful equity on that card. You know, even the RCs the last couple weeks, Eternal Wanderer in these mono white mid-range decks, it was maybe a 1 of, 2 of, and kind of stock for the Wandering Emperor. But you can really tell Autumn knows her deck in and out and has really made these awesome tweaks to it.
You know, that is one of the advantages of a list like this that is so good at making its land drops, is you can play, you know, 3 of a 6-mana Planeswalker and whatever else it is you want. Breach of the Multiverse, perhaps. you know, in the one of Sunfall, because you're never really too concerned about making those land drops.
Exactly. And I loved in an interview with her, you know, pretty recently about the deck with Cedric, she was just saying, you know what, this is my pet deck.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play it, and I keep winning with it, so I'm just going to play it. And there's nothing more satisfying in the world than playing a deck you absolutely love and doing well with it. Because, you know, it's tough. If you play a deck that really isn't your style, the tournament kind of feels like it drags on a lot more. But when you get to play with one of those decks that you love, you know, and win, it is the best feeling in the world when it comes to a Magic tournament.
Yeah, and you can tell, you know, when a player's genuinely enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
You know, their results show, their demeanor shows it. It's just, you know, it's a wonderful thing to see. And Autumn is certainly showing off her pet deck this weekend.
Exactly.
And I'm so glad we got to see it, because it's been such a treat to watch how it's handled this metagame. Exactly.
Or like Simon, you'll see him physically dancing. You know, that's one way to know they're having fun as well.
Surge of Salvation drawn.
That was a nice one of in the last round, that's for sure.
Fiend's Tower getting cycled. You love to see that if you're Cain Rianhard. What did we pick up there? Ossification. Okay. All right. That's decent.
Pretty good. Ossification, now we have a choice for her. If you want to ossify the token or the harvester, if you hit the token, the one advantage is if Cain does find Breach, or excuse me, Invoke Despair, you have that free card to sack. So you hear her kind of agonizing, like, oh, what do I want? But, you know, the flip side of that, Autumn might take the harvester as like a, come on, invoke me, because she has the surge.
Yeah, might see a similar blowout situation that we saw against Simon Nielsen.
Yeah, too good.
You know, 5 mana do nothing, essentially. Surge of Salvation coming in clutch.
Yeah, despair, but not for your opponent. Does give you hexproof, which Invoke does target. Breach, on the other hand, does not target. That's just an each player thing for anyone keeping track at home.
And the art on Surge of Salvation is one of my favorite from the set. Dominic Mayer absolutely crushed it with that one.
It is a really nice one.
Yeah, when we're playing cards on the internet or whatever it is we're doing, we can also be art connoisseurs and appreciate the gorgeous art that Magic artists out there deliver for us.
Absolutely. Who else are you going to be a fan of in the elevator when you run into John Avon, right?
Another copy of Blood Tithe Harvester. More blood for the Blood God. Oh, no, wait, that's a different set.
She definitely needs to find something in another land here and just scoops it up. Yeah, I mean, I guess she was a 2, so really poor draw there for Autumn.
Game number 4, let's go. Are we going to go the whole 9 yards, or the whole 5 yards, I suppose, in this case?
Yep.
Are we going to get all 5 games here? Autumn Burchett needs to win 2 out here.
Oh my. Okay, so this puts a land into play tap. Cain has the turn 1 duress for that Reckoner Bankbuster. Autumn is very reliant on this. Autumn is just saying no duress, no duress, no duress. It's there.
That's brutal.
This is going to be a snap Bankbuster. The only reason it's not going to be a snap one is Cain will have to write down the hand, but there is almost assuredly taking this Bankbuster, unless there was an Abrade that I didn't see from Cain's hand at first glance, but huge start for Cain.
That is absolutely rough here for Autumn Burchett's Ossification, Duress, Bankbuster, and the Eternal Wanderer as options, but it is going to be Bankbuster out of there, so no turn 2 play here at the moment for Autumn Burchett.
So Duress back is going to be pretty strong. You know, you do get to take one of these powerful cards, but, you know, Cain's hand is pretty slow, so they're not going to be doing anything, you know, too quickly here, but right now there's 4 lands, and there's the world of time up against Autumn missing the key turn 2 play for Bankbuster here.
Yeah. Itali, Takanuma, Xander's Lounge, Swamp Cruelty, and Invoke Despair.
I would think Cruelty is probably going to be the pick here, because Invoke Despair is something that Autumn's probably okay with if it comes down to take a little bit of damage and Cain draws a couple cards, but the Cruelty, if it were to be paired with Fable or a Blood Tithe Harvester to discard a Tali, that could just be game over.
Yeah. So it's going to be the Saga taken for Autumn Burchett off that duress.
And there is perfect information for Cain. Cain does know exactly what's in her hand based on playing that land, because that was the one unknown card drawn.
Yep. I'm gonna be all set.
I'm going to be all set, says Cain. Sneaky
Land
Masato
go.
on Magic Online and Twitch for anybody who has watched their stream.
Just passing the turn back. Nothing doing right now for Autumn Burchett. Cain Rianhard finds a Blood Tithe Harvester, so that's been a nice pickup.
Yeah, big, smart decision there from Autumn taking the Cruelty, because Blood Tithe Harvester there would have been perfect to pitch a Tali and then bring it back.
That would have just been back-breaking, lights out, game over. Back it up. Get out of here.
So the one thing that is kind of interesting when it comes to having all these different basics, Autumn does have to kind of recognize which plane did Cain see. You know, top deck of planes there, and she wanted to make sure to play the one that Cain saw instead, to make sure to not give away information. That is usually the main reason why you play all of one land, but you know, when it makes,
you can never be sure which planes it was.
Exactly,
Oh, okay.
but if it makes you happy to play all the different planes, that's a big thing as well.
This is a new segment, Pro Tips at the Pro Tour with Corey Baumeister.
And then it's me explaining that, and then it cuts to Autumn, and she's just like, yeah, but they're nice, so... So forget what that guy said.
Yeah. Okay, here comes Eternal Wanderer, along with a Samurai token.
My turn.
On the end step there of Cain Rianhard. So Autumn is assembling something here.
Yep.
Just getting a board presence established. 2 mana for Spirited Companion, the one of in the deck, draw a card.
Yep, and she drew out of this pretty well. You know, this was a mulligan and a 2-lander on the play with Bankbuster, so heavily reliant on that resolving and then activating it every single turn. At least she drew some lands to make sure she could deploy her threats here. And Sarah Paragon. Wow,
Yes,
we
please.
nailed that.
We sure did. It's like we rehearsed it.
I think we did.
Oh man, that is an excellent pickup.
That was huge with those
no
lands in the yard.
Immediate answer for it either. So yeah,
Wow.
2 Obscura Storefronts in the bin and the Bankbuster.
Yeah, okay. Here comes Takanuma. So what would be huge here is to mill something like an Atraxa. Nope, not there. Doesn't have the Cruelty anyways, because that did get discarded, but milling something like that would have helped at least step 1 of the equation. But now, looks like it might just be time to invoke some Despair. But Cain does have to be wary, you know, with this open deckless tournament. That one of Surge would just be a complete blowout.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if Cain goes for something different, that's probably the main reason why. Just kind of afraid of that card, because it is a really, really scary one. Giving me Veil of Summer flashbacks, you know?
Oh boy. No Veil of Summer anywhere at the moment, I don't think. But Invoke Despair is certainly an option, and oh boy.
We'll be seeing it in Barcelona.
Oh, goody. Invoke Despair is going to do a good job here for Cain Rianhard.
Yeah, and probably just the Spirited Companion and the Wandering Emperor going to the yard. Cain's got to know if there's a pause at all, there's no Surge. Oh, interesting. Okay. So what Autumn did there, the reason she put 3 things away is she sacked the creature, then sacked the Planeswalker, then sacked an enchantment. She had a choice to just sack Spirited Companion, but did not want to give Cain a single magic card there, knowing that there's an Atali on the other side. Valued the 1/1 being in the yard more than Cain having a card there. Nice play.
Very nice indeed. Sarah Paragon now able to start recurring cards from the graveyard. So starting with the Obscura Storefront to go get a land and get some extra life.
Yeah.
Sitting at 25. I mean, very healthy life total indeed here for Autumn Burchett.
Yep, absolutely. Those lands add up, you know? I mean, all of a sudden, Autumn getting to start the game at around, 24 or something on average with all this incidental life gain can definitely mean the difference of having one extra turn or not. And that could be the difference of her being able to play Breach or dying. Big difference.
Pretty sure the former is preferred, I should say.
By one of the players, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see another Breach. Come on, let's go. But as things stand, Sarah Paragon, the only permanent on the board now, aside from that blood token. Cain has Duress, Blood Tithe Harvester, and Itali in hand, and we're going to kick things off on this turn with a Duress.
Invasion of Gobakhan is actually really strong because if you Invasion Itali, then you can't discard it, and then you just have to cast it for 9.
Ugh.
So I bet we probably take this Invasion of Gobakhan because you don't really care if your Itali gets ossified. Ossification because, well...
You're just going to kill it eventually with an
if you
Evoke
kill
Despair.
it and get it back, that is bad news for Autumn.
Yeah. Pacifying anything with an ETB effect is just bad news.
Yes, not ideal.
Big things now for Cain. Because I mean, the invasion is a one of in the sideboard, so if that's out the way, then sure. Autumn's not going to get any more information unless it's a Duress from Cain Rianhard's hand.
Yep. So now has Blood Tithe Harvester. Looks like getting rid of the Blackleaf Cliffs instead of trying to string together just 2 lands for Itali, really trying to put a heavy emphasis on killing this Sarah Paragon. And then if you stumble into a land, great. But now,
you would hope that's the case, but yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing. You can just bring back Invasion of Gobakhan with Sarah Paragon, right? This doesn't say non-battle or anything. It's just...
A permanent?
Just permanent. Cast a permanent spell. Battles are definitely permanent, so Invasion of Gobakhan from the yard is awesome. So that Duress did exactly nothing.
It did, yeah. It's just, giving Autumn effectively 2 hands.
Yeah.
If there was a piece of removal for the Sarah Paragon in conjunction with the discard, then that would have been ideal.
Yeah, maybe that was a slight mistake then, actually, by Cain, because if Cain took Ossification, you don't really want to play Ossification from the yard right now. I guess it stopped Autumn from being able to play Bankbuster from the yard this turn. And Cain just thought, well, no matter what, she's going to be able to cast Invasion of Gobakhan from a zone. I'd rather have her cast it from the graveyard than cast Reckoner Bankbuster.
Yeah,
so,
fair.
okay, that makes a lot of sense from Cain. Nice play by them.
That is fair. Now, we do have Light Shield Array, which is another sneaky little bit of protection, aside from Surge of Salvation.
Wow, now this Paragon is really protected by the old Light Shield Array at the flip side of Gobakhan.
Getting some counters, too, so that's actually pretty gross, because then you can just replay it. Ugh. Well, no, it'll exile.
Oh,
so
yeah,
at least there's not that, recurrence.
Yeah.
The recurring recurrence. Because that would be terrible. But this is looking really good here for Autumn Burchett so far.
This really is, yeah.
Cain is hellbent? No hand? No hand?
Yeah. Looks like there might be forcing a game 5 here, it looks like so far.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, absolutely not.
I bet they'd like a little bit of a breather, kick their feet up a bit before jumping into the finals. Alrighty, Bankbuster back on board here, courtesy of the Sarah Paragon. So we're going to draw some cards here for Autumn. Obscure Storefront in hand. Alongside, what else are we getting?
So able to do some pressuring, and what we got, 5, 6, 7 mana for Cain, so 2 mana away from Itali. The one benefit, and this is a very, very small benefit, but being able to cast Itali when you have 9 mana now, at least you got the mana to transform it right away the next turn.
There is,
if it ever lives.
There is that going for him.
Yeah.
Poor Itali.
Okay. Big draw step here.
Oh, wedding
Nothing
announcement.
for Cain.
Ossification Plains. Yeah, Cain is not looking super hot right now. I think we're going to see a game 5 here between these two players, as Autumn is just now accelerating towards the win here in game number 4.
Yep, definitely everything coming up, Burchett.
There's the wedding announcement. Plains. And if not, why not turn things sideways? Are we going to crew the Bankbuster, or are we just swinging in with the Angel?
Swinging in, and this Paragon's getting bigger and bigger.
Rightly so. So let's get our counters on the wedding announcement. There is our creature. So preferring to get a bigger board as opposed to more cards in hand.
All right, Atali time. Let's see what we can hit.
Lance, nope.
Farmhand Bankbuster, that's pretty weak.
Yeah, that's not exciting at all. I thought this dinosaur was supposed to be good, Corey.
Yeah, even worse, Cain doesn't have a Plains to search for.
No.
Even more of a tilt. That's the real hit there.
I mean,
this looks like this is game 4 going to Autumn Burchett, because she's got a monster battlefield right now, and Cain did not hit the gigantic Atali, which had to be there.
Oh, that is rough. And Cain can just kind of sit here and watch as Autumn Burchett finds all the answers that she needs here to lock up this game number 4.
Yeah. What a game. What a game. Even from the very beginning with that duress on the Bankbuster, you know, both players drew pretty well out of it, you know, just Autumn able to maneuver this to a really sweet spot for her.
Yeah. And, you know, like, just so much... Goodbye, Atali. You know, so many answers, so many ways to just keep control of this battlefield here and, you know, just add further levels of complication with the invasion of Gobekon being flipped, the light shield array, protecting everything to all the card draw, the filtering. It's just so good in this game. This deck is looking awesome. Yeah,
it really is a mid-range deck on paper, in air quotes here, but it almost feels like a prison-style deck that's really trying to just narrow everything and just really put, you know, the claws down on you every single turn, eliminate outs turn after turn until all of a sudden you get to a position like this, be like, what can Cain draw? And Autumn's probably thinking the same thing. Be like, I don't think there's one single card that gets them out of this.
I don't think so either. Invoke Despair looks very impressive when there's not much on the board, but as you look at it now, there's just so many options for Autumn to pick from. You pick the weakest link, and you just keep dominating with the rest of it. Yeah, normally, like if there's only one ossification for an enchantment with an Atali, it's going to be great, but now you have a spirited companion to get rid of. You know, like that's... Oh, goodness. And Cain can't even flip the ambitious farmhand because no 2 white sources for it. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, this looks like this is going to be game wrapped up here. 30. Yeah, that's the Brawl life total start, I believe. So we're just playing Brawl here now with Autumn Burchett. All right, friends, get yourselves ready for game number 5 here. In our semifinals, Autumn Burchett, Cain Rianhard, one of these players is going on shortly to face Nathan Stoyer. If you're Nathan, who do you want to fight? Not like in the physical, you know. We're not starting a boxing match or anything, but who would you prefer to face? I would think probably Cain. I think they have been beating up on the Reanimator deck a little bit more, and Autumn keeps saying, if there's Blackleaf Cliffs, I want to play it. So I think if she wins this, she is a favorite to be a 2-time Pro Tour champion. That's got a nice ring to it, It does, yeah. Sure does. I think I would, if I was a 2-time Pro Tour champion, I would introduce, like, people I meat at the grocery store. Be like, oh, yeah, hi. I'm Corey. Be like, thank you. This is a Wendy's, but... Oh, goodness. So, wrapping up game 4 there, Autumn Burchett looking very strong in that game indeed as we go to game number 5. Okay, both players kept exactly what we want. Nice.
Autumn has learned from the last game to keep 2 Bank Busters, so you can't lose them no matter what here. That's got to be bad news bears there for Cain, wanting to take that card. Now, Cain is the one that could get duressed back, so I think Cain has to take duress just so they can play the Bank Buster here.
Turn too, yeah.
Okay, they're equaled on Bank Busters, so there's no huge Bank Buster advantage, which is the early game in this mid-range battle. Yeah, so it should be a nice even game here.
Yeah, you know, in this situation, the redundant copy is just going to come out anyway, so take the unique card.
Yep. Gix Command being one of the cards that Cain brought in there, being able to deal with a wide battlefield as well as bring some stuff back, ends up being a card you definitely more want for maybe like toxic matchups, hyper-aggressive decks, but has some applications here as well.
So it is the duress taken there from Burchett, so no peeking in the hand of Cain Rianhard, allowing him to get, allowing them to get their Blood Tithe Harvester or the Bank Buster down.
Yep, and drew the Harvester, a nice draw, a nice follow-up for next turn, if they don't want to just draw a card.
So Banks being busted left, right, and center. I'm amazed New Capenna's economy is surviving at all at this rate.
Yep, prioritizing drawing a card instead of getting in 4 damage here with the Harvester. Really showing the discipline from Cain. Just thinking this game is going to go extremely long. I'm not going to win with this chip shot damage.
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, it's a battle of resources. Who has the most cards? Who's got the most things on the board? And who has the most life?
Yep.
But, the life is kind of secondary to all of the other stuff.
Yeah, it really is. So a little bit awkward there from Autumn. She didn't have the ability to draw a card and duress with the obscure storefront being a tap land. You know, I mean, the true definition of a tap land, even though it does a little bit different things. So we'll have to save that for next turn. But to be fair, from Cain, the big turn where you want to be duressing is turn 4, before turn 5 for that Cruelty of Gix, which we're really yet to see so far in this match.
So just Bank Busters for both players. And the turn passed back here to Cain Rianhard.
Pretty funny. We have the PTQ going on next to us, and Nathan Stoyer is just watching teammates play there before the biggest match probably of his life. Got to support your teammates in all matches. Cool to see.
He's played in the World Championship, Corey.
Huh?
This is not the biggest.
Yeah, good point, good point. Yeah, that's
well,
right.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Players look at things differently.
Every next match is the biggest match, right?
Yeah. Because you're only as good as your last result or something, I don't know.
Exactly. Rent is due, and it's due every day. I don't know the expression.
Let's just talk about magic.
It's been a long match, yeah.
We know how to do that. Duress, to take a look in the hand here of Cain Rianhard, revealing, all of Gix's goodies. Cruelty of Gix and Gix's Command, and 3 lands.
Yeah, that is overall a pretty weak hand here from Cain with the Duress taking it. If you can play that Cruelty of Gix, it's fine. But the Gix Command is something you really want to draw on turn 12. You know, you want that on top of your deck after there's already a really wide battlefield from Autumn, something like that. Gix Command with no cards in the graveyard doesn't look as great right now.
Yeah. So Cruelty of Gix is the selection there for Burchett.
22.
It's got a handful of cards at this point.
Yep, and good news for Cain fans is they still have Bank Buster, they still have the Blood, so you know, can still see quite a few, cards.
Yeah.
But would really like to have a big turn next turn, casting a Cruelty or something like that, to be able to start at Chapter 1. And if you can go all the way with that card, especially in a matchup like this, where Autumn has so many ways to deal with it, with Lauren, with Destroy Evil, it just almost never gets there. But if you can do that, it ends up being really powerful.
Turn passes back now to Cain Rianhard. Phyrexian Fleshgorger. Okay.
All right.
All right, that's a pretty fun one.
Now Cain has to make a choice to wait for that or maybe cast it for 3 mana. I think we're going to start with doing some bank busting here, get that last counter off, because now if you wait with that card, at least next turn you get the full value.
Yeah.
You know, you just get to cast it for 7 thanks to this treasure we're about to get.
Yeah. Get a little pilot along with it. See an attack in here with our friendly neighborhood Blood Tithe Harvester. In for 3, down to 19 goes Autumn Burchett.
And Autumn's hand looks
sick.
Great.
That's a good looking hand. Just needs land. And then
needs land, yeah. But even this activation here, she's going to draw 2 cards and then have the treasure available. If she can even find 1 to 2 lands, you got to think heavy advantage. And wow, Cain goes for the just cast, yeah. But drew Invoke Despair, so has some gas for next turn already, so that does make a little more sense.
Yeah, I like this. Cain asserting themselves a bit more in this battlefield here, so just getting some stuff going to try and get ahead of whatever the big play is that Autumn Burchett's working towards.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see if she top decked a land. If there is no land drop, she is in the weird spot. Do I want to go to draw off Bankbuster and pray I get land 3 to like play a wedding announcement, or use the treasure and pair it with to cast the Wandering Emperor? But then there's the risk. Okay, if I brick, you know, am I falling too far behind? And no. Oh, nope, there's the Obscure Storefront. So I think she'll probably just play her best card now.
You mean the Obscure Storefront? Best card.
Yes, exactly. Get your copies now.
I'm not even kidding. Autumn says that is the MVP of the deck.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, especially it's a lot better in this list when she has the 2 swamps to get as well. You know, I mean, ends up being huge. And then the synergies with Sarah Paragon really put it over the top. Yeah,
for sure. Speaking of Sarah Paragon, that's sitting in hand. So is this going to be the Telltale Pass with 4 open mana?
Yeah, so if she wins this Pro Tour, we're going to frame that land next to her Curious Obsessions from Mythic Championship 1. All right, so passes and has the ability to Wandering Emperor, almost assuredly doing that to just be mana efficient here. But now Cain has some haymakers, so this is going to be a powerful turn for them.
Blood Tithe Harvester, Invoke Despair, a couple lands, and Gix's Command. Gix's Command being the known quantity for Autumn.
Okay, here's a big attack.
Wow, yeah, look at that go.
Now let's see, Wandering Emperor might have to be a little defensive here. 2 options for Autumn. She can either make a token, block the Blood Tithe Harvester, take 7, which her life total is still fine, so that's not that big of a deal, or exile 1 of the cards. You would almost think for sure exile the Bankbuster over the Fleshgorger to save damage, but exiling the Fleshgorger and not being able to have it being able to be brought back or any shenanigans like that could come up.
So just making the Samurai, blocking the Blood Tithe Harvester, taking 7 damage, so down to 13.
And here's Invoke, which is going to clean up the Wandering Emperor.
Yeah. That's an excellent turn for Cain Rianhard.
Huge turn for Cain.
Looking to finish this in record time here compared to the other games in this series.
Another Invoke Despair off the top.
Oh, that's got to be way too much now for Autumn Burchett to come back from.
I think they can kind of sense it a little bit. I mean, that is not blank draws, that is for sure.
Treasure, land, Blood Tithe Harvester. What is Autumn Burchett going to do up against this? What can you do? Cain is just asserting dominance at this point.
Yeah, she now has to deal with this massive battlefield already here to just stay alive. And then Cain has that kind of door shutter of second Invoke. And even Gix Command is starting to look a lot better now getting into the late game. So this, at this point, is Cain's game to lose.
Yeah. Cain is looking poised to join Nathan Stoyer in the finals here of Pro Tour March of the Machine. Just a few more turns, 9 points of damage needing to be dealt here to Autumn Burchett. What can she do here to stay in this?
Now she did draw a land, so that is pretty solid. But now the play is like, what do you really do? Double wedding announcement. Wedding announcement just in general looks bad right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of off the table. It's too late. You know, so at this point you look at your other options, and it's Sarah Paragon looks at the graveyard. Nothing's really there. It might start with just activating Bankbuster to try to find something.
I mean, double wedding announcement is 2 bodies on the board. That is a little bit of protection against Invoke.
A little bit of protection, but there's just so much power coming at you. You're going to have to sacrifice one of the creatures. You could block the Bankbuster, take 6 from the attackers, and then Invoke Despair would just
clean you up.
Pretty much just clean you up. It would put Autumn down to 1. Destroy Evil, pretty good pickup.
Yeah.
If Cain goes to animate the Bankbuster, at least that kind of takes 2 creatures out of combat.
Sure does. The crew tap ability as well as the 4/4. Ooh, this is stressful times here for Autumn Burchett.
Coming down to the last moment of the last game by these 2 superstars.
It's awesome to see Cain Rianhard excelling in this tournament.
Yeah. Especially because
can I get an Oracle
Cain had 4 losses going into the standard rounds yesterday, so they had to win 5 in a row.
Yeah.
They won 5 in a row.
They had no loss to give.
Had to get to the top 8, had to win that. Top 4 has to win this. They're all must wins since, you know, lunchtime yesterday.
It's like we're just getting an Oracle check on
Gix Command.
What do you think Autumn's thinking about?
Well, thinking if she can live through Gix Command. I mean, Gix Command can put a counter. I mean, Gix Command can clean up the pilot and pump a creature. Gix Command, as far as I'm seeing, is just going to win this game next turn.
Yeah, because you can choose 2, so kill some things. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the highest power.
Okay, so it looks like, so Gix Command, what you can do, you can destroy all creatures with power 2 or less. You can, of course, crew your pilot or crew your Bankbuster with your pilot first, so that doesn't die. You can put 2 counters onto either Harvester or the prototype, and then attack. Then Autumn has the Destroy Evil for the Bankbuster, and would take 8. So right now it looks like Autumn is at 1 life. If Gix Command is chosen, that's just without anything additional from Cain. Let's see what they do. And if it's not lethal, maybe it's just not cast this turn. Maybe you just invoke Despair first.
Fable of the Mirror Breaker, another option, but certainly not a door-shutting one, as you called it. Invoke Despair and Gix's Command, the 2 powerful black spells. Ooh, we're tapping for 5.
Yep, one of the 5 drops almost assuredly being cast here. Makes a lot of sense.
What's it going to be?
And there is the command.
Gix's Command. Destroy creatures power 2 or less.
6, 7, 8, 9. That's perfect, because this doesn't allow Destroy Evil to get into the mix at all. This is Cain winning. As long as the Bankbuster doesn't get animated, then there's no card that Autumn can have in this situation, and this is Cain advancing.
There we go. In with a team.
And there's nothing she can do
Autumn
about
can do about it. And there's the hand extended. Cain Rianhard is your 2nd finalist, going up against Nathan Stoyer. And look at what it means to them. What an incredible series of games against Autumn Burchett. Congratulations, Cain. Absolute goosebump stuff.
I have chills, Ailey. This is exactly why we play competitive Magic at the highest level. Cain, I don't know if they moved a muscle in that entire match, and then that huge reaction there at the end, you can tell how much it means to them, and huge congratulations to Cain.
Just that relief, that explosion
I got
of...
goosebumps.
Oh, yeah, me too. Unbelievable stuff here. So superbly played. Congratulations to Autumn Burchett. Another excellent showing here at the top tables. And I cannot wait to hear from Cain Rianhard about this win. So let's head on over there right now with Cedric.
Cain Rianhard is with me after a huge win over a mythic champion in Autumn Burchett. Cain, that was a lengthy one. Now, of course, your quarterfinals matchup was against Rakdos Midrange. Your semifinals matchup was against Orzhov Midrange. Two very different decks. What was your approach in this matchup?
Against Mono White, once they get their engines going, it's very difficult to kind of put a stop to that. So you either have to kind of try and aggro them out based on your hand, which I was able to do with like some of the games with Blood Tides and Fables, or you kind of have to have timely duresses to pick apart some of their like synergy, not even necessarily synergies, like Wedding Announcement or Bank Buster are just like so important to that deck to keep accumulating resources for it. And then once you're able to disrupt that a bit, you can kind of aggro them out like with the first plan, or you can kind of go over the top with your impactful endgame, whether it's stacking Invokes, Chandra, or big dinosaurs.
Well, you were able to do a little bit of both in order to get that victory. Now, let's talk about the finals. Nathan Stoyer, the real life end boss. You, some would say, a Magic Online end boss. And apparently the two of you may share a little in common as far as the Discord server is concerned. So Boomer, Zoomer, all that jazz. Tell us a little about it and tell us how you're feeling for this finals matchup.
I'm very excited, and it's time to put the Zoomers in their place as Team Boomer.
As a fellow Boomer, I very much appreciate that. Good luck, my friend. Awesome watching you play.
It's Boomers versus Zoomers. Who's going to come out on top? We'll find out after this break. That's going to do it for me and Corey. Thank you so much for watching. Let's see who our champion's going to be.